Hello, thank you very much for clicking on this video. I do appreciate it. So the Band on the Run Underdubbed Mixes were released just this last Friday. I have listened to it a few more times after my initial review, and my opinion still hasn't changed. So just quickly, here's my position. If you like it, good for you. You're kidding yourselves, num. If you like it, that's fine. I didn't. I thought it was just basically an unfinished album, and almost like Paul McCartney was dredging the bottom of a barrel, scraping. You scrape a bottom of a barrel. McCartney was scraping the bottom of a barrel, which I think there was stuff under the barrel as well. I think there's plenty more Band on the Run stuff, and that's what this video is about. I therefore don't appreciate Paul McCartney fans being charged an extra 23 quid here in Britain for a disc full of stuff which it's barely different. If you are going to buy it, which you are well within your right to do so, I would say if you're a vinyl collector, buy the half-speed master, but maybe also just purchase the double CD. Reason being, you'll get it cheaper. It just works out a little bit cheaper. At time of recording, by the way, it is £15 on the Paul McCartney store website. Some people have been saying they've bought it in HMV for £23 or something. Mental. Check out the Paul McCartney store. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think Paul McCartney is ripping off his fans yet again. People keep saying it's not Paul McCartney, it's the record label. If you think Paul McCartney's got nothing to do with his releases, why? Explain to me why you think that. Because Paul McCartney, throughout his whole career, has been quite the astute businessman. He's got his fingers in every pie. All of a sudden, when he starts, conning his fans, oh no, he doesn't know about it. Come on, guys. I had quite a few comments on my Underdubbed review video, and I've seen comments in other Underdubbed review videos of people saying, well, the demo tapes were stolen in Lagos. We're lucky to have that. Stop being such a Grinch. Grinch is Christmas, isn't it? Stop being such a dick. Dick's all year round, isn't it? And I keep hearing that, and there was just something that I know I read in this book. By the way, great book. Get it. But I read something in that book which said different, and it kind of stuck with me. So what I'm going to do, I'm quickly going to show you an interview with Paul McCartney where he's talking about the whole mugging in Lagos and the demo tapes. Here it is.
So Linda and I walking along this dark street from some mate's house that we were back to our place, which was probably about 2 miles away. We thought, beautiful, Africa, yeah. Beautiful night, starry night, right. Walking along, and then a car just pulls up, and the window comes down, rolled down, and the guy sort of said, he looks at me, and I said, I got in his face. I always get in people's face. I said, all right, mate, how you doing? What's up? And he looked at me like strange. He said, are you travellers? I went, yeah, travellers. Yeah, you got it. I said, listen, mate, it's very nice of you to stop, but we don't want a lift. We're walking. That's what I thought. I'm like, everyone's nice. Yeah. He's offering us a lift. Suddenly, all the doors open, and 5 young chaps get out.
And then you realise.
And there's a little squat one who's got a knife. I go, oh.
Yeah.
Ding.
You don't want to give us a lift at all.
Oh, that's what it was all along. And Linda was great. She's screaming at him. She said, leave him alone! Leave him alone! He's a musician! Like, that's going to help. Well, music. He's a musician.
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
Be fine.
And we said, what do you want? What do you want? Tape, camera, tape, whatever. Well, because the guy's got a knife, he's fairly persuasive. Sure. So go on, you can have it,
But then you had to start from scratch. I mean, it was all up there?
Yeah, so that was the thing. They took all the demo tapes along with everything else. But I remembered everything. But then I had lyric sheets and stuff. And, once you've written a song, a lyric sheet's often all you need just to go, oh, yeah, that's how it goes.
That was an interview with Dermot O'Leary. I think it was in the 2000s. It was on one of the Band of the Run anniversaries. But was that just a story? Was that just a good story? Paul McCartney does like to bend the truth just for a good story. For example, the Beatles weren't going to go to America until they had a #1 there. Paul McCartney said this many times. I think it's even in Anthology. It's not true. They were booked to go there anyway, and they just so happened to have a #1 when they got there. Great. But it's a lie, or should we say a misremembering of the facts that Paul McCartney tells for a great story. Has this happened with the Lagos mugging story? Well, so there are 2 paragraphs from this book which shed a different light on that story. I'm not saying this is the truth, but this is a very good book. It's very well researched. First paragraph, for reference, Paul had bought along cassette copies of the demos the full band had made at Low Ranachan. I'm saying that wrong. Ranachan? Yeah. And they consulted them when necessary. But mostly Paul had the arrangements in his head. So the bit I honed in on that was cassette copies of the demos. These are copies of the demos that he made before they went to Lagos. Okay. The book goes on to mention the mugging a little bit later in the book. But it also says, although Paul and Linda mentions the mugging in interviews shortly after their return to London, the detail of the demos being stolen was not mentioned until the 1980s. In various versions, Paul noted that the loss of the demos meant that he had to reconstruct the songs from memory at the sessions. That's what we heard in the Dermot O'Leary interview. But in fact, Picasso's Last Words was the last song recorded in Lagos. The 4-track master of the demo remained in London or Campbelltown and could be consulted if necessary before the continuation of the sessions at Air Studios. So all the recordings in Lagos were already done by the time they got mugged. So I think Paul maybe just has misremembered that part because whereas the demos were available for them to listen to, he was reconstructing it from memory anyway. But he's then attributed that to the fact that the tapes were stolen, which is not true. The tapes were stolen, but not why he had to remember it. You with me? And so that brings me back to the comment that... So then that brings me back to the comments that, you know, we're lucky to get what we got with the Underdubbed mixes. No, we're not. There must be some other demos out there. Maybe there isn't. What do you guys think? Is there something else out there? Surely we would have heard it by now, even bootleg versions. But what do you? I'm going to throw it over to you guys. What do you think? I've given you some background. You guys tell me what you think. Me personally, I think there must be something else out there, but that does beg the question as to then why are we getting underdubbed mixes? Why do that? So it's a tough one. What do you guys think? Please let me know. If I've taught you something you didn't know, please consider subscribing, liking and sharing. Share this with somebody else that believes this bullshit story. Share it with somebody else that thinks they know the Paul McCartney version of events. Yeah, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. See you next time when I do another video about something. Have I got... There's paint. I've got paint on this t-shirt. It's too late now, isn't it? I finished. Laters.